Yo, what's up, everyone? It's the Crypto Sheikhs in the house. I'm here with Anas Burton.
Crypto Sheikhs in the house.
This is the Crypto Sheikhs. This is the leading podcast in Dubai and the UAE, where you, regardless of your skill level, will learn everything from cryptocurrencies to blockchain technologies.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, everyone? So today we're going to talk about...
week.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week, and it's been so much happening in the NFT space. So we thought that we need to dive into it and tell people. Now, a lot of people don't even know what an NFT is. So today we're going to talk about, what is an NFT and how you can basically hopefully profit from it, invest in it, learn from it, or just be in the NFT space. There's so much things happening, and it's going to revolutionize the world. That's the way I think both of me and you see it. Not just when it comes to art, but when it comes to collectibles, when it comes to tickets, when it comes to property, when it comes to so many things, that it's a shame if we don't bridge the knowledge gap on this topic. And we still have a lot to learn about this because it's also new and it's changing so fast. So let's dive right into it. So Anas, what's been happening in the NFT space?
Well, I mean, you and I had some fun this past few weeks, right? We participated in a drop. We bought some stupid stuff. We bought some good stuff. I think what's great about what the place we're in right now is it's really a period of pure experimentation. People don't know what the blue chips are going to be, right? There's in every industry that kind of emerges, always going to be that big player, and we don't know who that's going to be. So right now, different artists are creating works. They're launching different projects. We have different genres like profile pics. We've got photography coming on, normal art, digital art. So it's really just like, I've never seen this before, but it's like an explosion of creativity that's happening. And there are people making an unbelievable amount of money, like life-changing, or in some cases, wife-changing money.
Wife-changing.
I know one of my friends who I've met on Twitter, he's actually a photographer. He took $2,000, which he had in the beginning of this year, and he turned it into $1 million. Now, I don't know anybody doing that in the stock market or even in crypto, maybe in crypto over a longer period of time, but to take $2,000 and 500x it to 1 million in 1 year there's two things. Either we're at the very tip of a huge bubble that's going to explode and everything's going to just go crazy, like 1920s style, or he made the trade of his lifetime. He jumped in at the right time, just when this space is really blowing up. So
do you think do you think people are late to the party now?
No. I'll tell you why. Nobody's late to this party because we recently saw some data on the amount of wallets. So crypto wallets, when you participate in any NFT kind of platform like OpenSeas or Foundation, we'll talk about this later on down in the episode. But to access it, you need a wallet, a crypto wallet, which holds your funds to participate in. Now, the data coming out right now shows that there are only 180,000 wallets currently playing in the OpenSea ecosystem.
Yeah,
so
that's not even 0.001% of the global population.
And let's not forget, some people have multiple wallets. I have two. I have this MetaMask, and we also have the Crypto Sheikhs MetaMask.
I actually also have two wallets.
So it could really be 100,000 instead of 180,000, right?
Yeah.
And if you consider that the population of the world is greater than 7 billion,
7.9,
7.9 billion, 180,000 is a pin in the Atlantic Ocean.
It's crazy. So if I'm new to NFTs, and I want to get into it, what should I know about this space? What is important for me to understand?
So let's start. Actually, I got some for the listeners. You won't see this, but on YouTube, where we're broadcasting this, we actually put together some slides that I've actually also posted on my Instagram. It was kind of like an NFT guide which I think people can refer to very, very easily. We're going to share this on the Crypto Sheikhs podcast as well, so it's easily accessible. So I'm going to go ahead and actually share that with you. So we created this guide, and we're going to go through it. And through that, we're going to sort of talk about, firstly, what an NFT is, how to buy them. And also we wanted to maybe touch on something that happened this past week, where Visa incorporated the credit cards. They actually bought a really incredible NFT called, well, it's a CryptoPunk, which is a type of NFT, and they paid almost $150,000 for it.
So this is pretty crazy. Like, I mean, if someone would tell me about a year ago that, people would be buying JPEGs for $150,000 up to $1 million, I would tell them they're crazy, not waste my time.
Absolutely mental.
And looking at it now in retrospect, I think I was probably not the only one that was wrong. But it is crazy how these JPEGs that started out selling for, how much was it, $200, if even that?
Actually, you'll be shocked, but the CryptoPunks were given out for free in 2017.
So there you go. There you
go. So you basically got this for free, and if you held it for 3 years, you basically would have made $300,000 to $1 million, $300,000 to $1 million. I've never heard of free money being distributed like this in history. So there we go. So let's go ahead and start. So firstly, what is an NFT? Right? NFT stands for non-fungible token. Now, I just want to start at a broader level first. NFTs, if you want to think about them, picture them kind of like a certificate of ownership, right? So you and I would both like rented, or some people here may have bought property. When you enter into a contract on a property, if you're renting it, you get a tenancy agreement, and that kind of showcases your ownership of the tenancy. You have a right to live there. Or if you own the property, you have a title deed, which basically proves your ownership of that property, right? NFTs are precisely like this, just that the documentation is not paper; it's evidence on a blockchain. And we'll go into that a little bit further down, but I kind of want to break down this word. I think a lot of the reason why I think crypto can be cryptic and challenging for some people is some of these jargon words that are used, right? So fungible, what does that actually mean? I mean, Dan, I think you know this better than I do, because you've done this explanation many times.
Yeah, well, actually, fungible means exchangeable, and the way I try to remember what fungible means is, fungible sounds like fungi, like mushrooms. So if you think about all the mushrooms out in the woods, and you pick one, that is exchangeable for another mushroom. They hold equal value to each other. Now, the exchangeability I usually demonstrate with money. So if you have let's say $500 note or 500 dirham note, this note can be exchanged for another note. So, by giving this to someone else, this doesn't lose value. This doesn't have more value than this one. But if I would give this note to, let's say, Sheikh Mohammed, and he would sign it for me, then suddenly this note, this 500 note, would probably be worth quite a lot more, depending on what the market demands. So that's
exactly.
That basically means fungible, when something is exchangeable for something else and doesn't lose value. Now, when it's non-fungible, it means that it's unique. And usually, you explained it down here. Usually, something that is unique has a subjective value. So some things that have subjective value is art, like the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa to you might be worth one thing, but to me, it might be worth something else. I might be willing to pay $10,000 for the Mona Lisa. You might be willing to pay $1 million for the Mona Lisa.
Exactly.
So
it's in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly. So that, and when it comes to these non-fungible assets, we can tokenize them. We can assign a token to them and make them unique, and give that unique token a certain certificate of ownership that is registered on a blockchain. Now, a blockchain to many people is very, very advanced.
Yeah.
We're not going to go into the depth.
Yeah, we'll go into that. But I just wanted to just stop again on the Mona Lisa. think about it this way. With dollars, you can carry lots of dollars and people will exchange them because, as Danosh, you were saying, they're the same thing. Like $10 is $10, but you can't take a Mona Lisa and start buying stuff with it because firstly it's a painting, and there isn't another Mona Lisa exactly the same as that one. So if I wanted to buy a car, I couldn't just take this Mona Lisa and pay for that car with the Mona Lisa. It just doesn't make sense to do that. So the whole reason why we have a concept of non-fungibility is to capture the fact that in this world, there are assets that are exactly the same, like money, and in some cases, I guess you could say gold bars, and maybe even some extent jewelry, to some not jewelry, but like certain commodities. But there are, of course, other types of assets that are unique, like art, and there must be a way to capture the ownership of that, and that's what NFTs intend to do.
Yeah, so, one more thing also to say about fungible tokens is that a non-fungible token, like a money, if you divide the money into half, you will be able to, it's divisible. You can divide it into half and it will have half the value. But with non-fungible assets, you can't divide, like you can't take a house, because a house, to you it has a different value. Like if we go to bidding of a house, you can put in the bid of 100,000. I might put in the bid of 120,000. But the thing about this asset that is non-fungible, you can't take a house and cut it into half and divide the value. And that's also something that people should keep in mind when it comes to non-fungible assets.
Yeah, but I actually want to say one thing on this point though. NFTs though bring a new way to look at it. This is why it's innovative. So previously with an art piece like the Mona Lisa, you couldn't have divisibility because, like you said, you can't cut that art piece into a million different pieces and separate it. But what's interesting about NFTs now is when you take that art piece and you digitize it, you can fractionalize the ownership of that, which means that, let's say you want to buy an art piece. Let's say we were to tokenize the Mona Lisa, which means that the ownership legal rights to the Mona Lisa were to put on a blockchain, like the Ethereum blockchain. It costs a lot to buy the Mona Lisa. I don't know how much it costs, but it could be several $1 million, right? Or even more. But what if multiple people wanted to buy it together? They could do that by owning different fractional shares, so to speak, of that NFT. So it's an innovation in a way around
But usually then they know exactly which part of the Mona Lisa that they own, right?
I mean, it's difficult to say. What they would really own is various shares in that Mona Lisa. So if, let's say that the Mona Lisa was valued at $1 million, right?
Probably the nose would sell for more than the hair,
Probably. I think there are other parts as well that people might prefer. I'm not going to go into that, but anyway, there's one thing that a lot of people raise on this point, which is I don't like, people say to me, okay, I don't get it though. Like with NFTs, when I see like a profile pic of, let's say, an art piece, couldn't I just copy and paste it onto my phone and then I have it, or I'd screenshot it and I have it? You could do that. Definitely, you could do that. But I'd say the same thing. So if you went to the Louvre and you saw the Mona Lisa and you took a photo of it, you couldn't sell the photo that you took for millions of dollars because you don't actually own the actual painting. You just own a photograph of that painting. Now, it's the same concept. It sort of applies here on the blockchain, because what's happening here is that in this world, and let's call this world the metaverse, this is how they term this world, which is kind of like a digital place where people online are buying things with crypto, but also sharing assets like digital art. If you want to prove your ownership of something, you're going to have to prove it on the blockchain. And so if you say to somebody that you have a photograph of a CryptoPunk, they're not going to buy that from you. What they want is the actual ownership rights they have to it through the blockchain. in this particular case.
Yeah.
The punks are on Ethereum. So I think this is a really important concept for some people to understand, that kind of think about the blockchain as like a legal system in a way. So in the real world, when you own real estate, let's say I took a photo of my house, I couldn't bring that to a court and say, well, I have a photo of this house, it's my house. I have to bring a legal title deed and say to the court, this is my house, so it can't be seized. In the metaverse, it's a similar thing. The blockchain is the legal system. It is the courtroom, so to speak. So you can't tell people, and this is the thing, you have to, for people who are not in this metaverse, they won't fully understand that. But once you get in there, to make any sale on any of these platforms, to prove your ownership, all of this requires ownership on the blockchain.
Yeah. So
that's a really key point, I think. I wanted to
and there's a transaction ID that gets registered on the blockchain, and you can easily check. If you get scammed, like I've been scammed buying fake NFTs, and I'm happy to talk about it. I'm not.
Yeah, it's important. It's good.
I'm not ashamed of getting scammed. I think it's a good lesson. But what I did afterwards is all these NFTs that have a contract ID. So I learned a lot from it. They have a contract ID, and if you know beforehand if you can find a way to check that the person was selling that NFT, what contract ID they have put on it, you can actually verify the authenticity. And you can also track back to see when it was minted, who minted it, and then see exactly who was buying it afterwards. So you can track the whole entire history of an NFT on the blockchain.
Exactly. So we've already talked about blockchain on our podcast before, but just in case, just a reminder, why is the blockchain important? Well, it's a network of computers around the world which keeps data secure, right? They in the case of Ethereum, there's a mining that takes place. We've talked about this before, and the purpose of the blockchain is to ensure that it can't be hacked. So when you own something on the blockchain, nobody can steal your ownership, right? So in the real world, if I hold the title deeds and somebody takes it and forges it in some way, they could potentially steal my ownership. It's very rare for that to happen, but or let's say my ownership burns down in a fire because the documents are, a deed, it's lost forever. On the blockchain, that would never happen. You can't burn your documents off. And so there's a record of your ownership of anything forever, so to speak. That's one of the key innovations, I think, with NFTs, assets, and that sort of being displayed on the blockchain.
Yeah.
I think one more point about how this works is how an NFT really works is, if you think about this, it's actually just a token like crypto. So when you own some Ethereum, you own a ledger entry in the blockchain that you own, let's say, some Ethereum. Now, the NFT is basically extra information in that Ethereum, which can be reflected as a photograph. So it could be music. So this is actually, we didn't talk about this, but NFTs can be anything. They can be music, they can be video, it can be a photograph. It can literally be any kind of information that you want to put in that token to reflect.
So the cool thing
that ownership.
Yeah. So the cool thing that the guys behind Ethereum, what they did was that, back some time ago, they decided that what if these Ethereum tokens, what if we can store a contract on them, a smart contract? So when we talk about blockchain, we talk about smart contracts because they're automated on the blockchain. So what if we can store a smart contract under our Ethereum token, which can carry different types of media? So it can carry music, video, digital, pictures, and that creates the same type of contract, but with an underlying asset, which could be a painting, and it's transacted on the blockchain. So that was pretty kind of revolutionizing, and it's called an ERC 721 token for those of you who want to know the definition. But this has enabled people to now transact with so many different things online, and it's crazy. It's opening up a whole new world of opportunities. For example, Gary Vee, he's launching a book now, and he was considering, I don't know if he did it actually, but probably he did. He he was considering to tokenize it so that if you buy the token of the book that he's about to launch, he would actually buy it up front. So he wouldn't need to work with a publisher. He would get the funding of the book up front. And if that book then turns into, let's say, a movie, or if it's sold on, or if it has a certain event, he can have that as utility to reward the people that supported him and gave him the money to publish the book, which is, this is just one example. Yeah, this is just one example.
You're cutting out the middleman.
Exactly.
And I mean, we talked about this with the banks before. So crypto removed the financial intermediaries. What NFTs do is remove the cultural intermediaries. So the Sonys and EMIs of the world who are controlling music, or in the case of intermediaries in the art world,
Sotheby's.
We're kind of killing all of these people who suck the blood out of creative people and allowing these creative people to go direct to consumer, and this is important. This is really important because
go ahead. No, I mean, for a lot of struggling artists now that are struggling to even make a sale of a painting. I've seen so many artists, they're like really struggling to make a sale. And now in the NFT space, they get access to so many people, and it's so easy for them to transact. And the value that, the value of their art is suddenly much higher because their market is so much bigger.
Correct. That's 100%. So that actually takes us to the most interesting part now, which is the platforms where we can buy an NFT. And I want to just focus, there's many of these, but I want to focus really on just a couple. There's OpenSea, there's Foundation, and there's Super Rare. There's also Mintable and Rareable, etc. But the most important one is OpenSea. And I think recently they did about $2 billion in transaction volumes this past month, which is unbelievable if you think about it. That's a lot of money going into NFTs.
Wait, hold up a second. That's $2 billion in 1 month on digital JPEGs and art and videos and stuff like that. It's insane. And that's just 1 month. There's a lot of industries there's a lot of industries that don't have that turnover in a whole year. And this is just in 1 month. And that's on one platform as well.
So I think OpenSea's transaction volumes last year were below 2 billion. There was something like, I don't remember, but there was something, I don't even think they reached 1 billion. So for the transaction volumes now to reach 2 billion, I don't know how to explain what's happening, but let's go straight here. Actually, this is OpenSea. We're live, or I've just gone to the website, and you can see right now that what I've shown you is the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is one of the most iconic and quite famous profile pic NFTs available. You can see they're selling for a floor price of, well, it says here $24.99 as the floor price for a Bored Ape. But the reality is, if you want to buy something right now, the minimum price you'd have to pay is 50 Ethereum.
Can you actually sort on price lowest to highest? Because I really want to see this.
No, this is already sorted.
Oh, it is already, okay. Wow. That's crazy.
49 Ethereum is the cheapest one out. We have a little bit of a story here. We tried to buy a Bored Ape. So me and Danosh, we pulled our funds together because I know it's a lot of money to be buying a Bored Ape at these prices. Let's put it in context. 50 Ethereum at today's prices is approximately $165,000. Right. Now, what's killing me big time is that 2 weeks ago, the cheapest Bored Ape was actually selling for about 26 Ethereum. And Danosh and I had pulled the money. We'd saved up. We're like, okay, we're gonna do this. Let's see what we can do. We pulled our funds, scraped through our salaries and our income, and we put it together, and we're like ready to go. We jump on the platform. We're bidding. We're like, okay, let's put it down. Let's go ahead and buy it. And then it gets snatched from us by some buyer who picks up
the exact one. The exact one that we wanted. Oh my God.
And the problem is, after we lost that, we were kind of talking about it. We're like, okay, it's a lot of money. Does it really make sense? Because at the time it was 26 Ethereum, which if you multiply that by, the price of Ethereum, that was about $85,000. So we were like, okay, maybe let's take it easy. Maybe it's going to pull back and we'll buy at a lower price. And let's maybe spread our NFT purchases across a number of other projects. That was one of the biggest mistakes of our lives. I'm going to say it right now, because what happened in the following 2 weeks is that the floor price jumped from 25 Ethereum to, as you can see now, 50 Ethereum. So we would have made a profit of 25 Ethereum on that Bored Ape. And
that's almost $80,000, $90,000.
We would have made, $80,000 in profit. And let's not forget, there was an airdrop. So all Bored Ape Yacht Club owners this past week received a free extra profile pic called the Bored Mutant Yacht Club. It's kind of like a derivative product that the team put together behind the Bored Apes, just to kind of expand ownership and bring some more hype. And what this thing was all about was, you got this kind of vial. It's kind of funny. It was like a mutant vial. And what you could do is you could basically infect your Bored Ape with it. And what would happen when you did that was that your Bored Ape would mutate into this mutant thing, which would become the mutant Bored Ape that you have, right? And I mean, I can show it to you guys right now and show you how much they're actually selling for, because they were given out for free to all Bored Ape Yacht Club members. You can see these are the Bored Apes here. For those listening, you won't see this. But you can see that these Bored Apes look a bit different, a little bit more hardcore. But look at what they're selling for. They're selling for, well, these are the bids now. I'm going for the buys here. If you see the floor price, it's 6.6 Ethereum. So in addition,
just to explain to everyone what a floor price is, it's the lowest price available for that specific item.
Yeah.
So a floor price doesn't always necessarily mean that you can get it at the floor price, because usually there's a bidding and the prices go up, but that's the lowest that you could possibly buy it at. So the floor price right now on these ones are around 6.
Yeah, around 6 Ethereum. But I just want to put into context. So had Danosh and I had the balls to really make the purchase, we would have made 25 Ethereum plus an extra 6 Ethereum on top for a full profit of 31 Ethereum in 2 weeks. So that just goes to show how crazy this market is right now.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to the Thai boxing tonight, to have someone beat my ass up.
All right. Going back to our discussion, I think the other platforms like Foundation and Super Rare, these are a bit different from OpenSea. The key difference being there you have more highly curated pieces. So I've seen a lot of photographers. So we have a photographer friend that we met actually in Mykonos. His name's Jacob, and he's listed a lot of his works on Foundation recently. He's doing really well. And one of the main reasons why he's doing well, though, is because he's got a big community. He's leveraged his following on Instagram. I think he's got about 1 million followers, and on Twitter, he's sort of engaging with his following very, very well. And so he's actually selling a lot of his art on Foundation for between 6 to 10 Ethereum. So what's great about this is, like I said, the artist is able to get a lot of value for their work in this metaverse world, because they're able to directly engage with their community, their buyers. They don't have to go through a gallery and lose that connection. Cool. So
how do you buy? So I think the key question now for everyone is, people think that, okay, you go onto this website if you want to buy it, and you just swipe in your credit card and you buy it. But no, that's not how things work in the metaverse. In the
Unfortunately
metaverse,
not.
You use cryptocurrencies, completely decentralized money, without the control of the banks, and that is also probably why there's so much money flowing into this, because a lot of people made, let's not shy away from it. A lot of people have made fortunes in the cryptocurrency industry, and now they're spending it on art that they like, and that's why they're happy to just throw money at these things. And that's why it's become such a speculative asset as well, because people buy expecting it to go up, and people are trading this on a daily basis. Now, if you want to buy NFTs, you need one thing. You need an online wallet. So that wallet, there's so many different types. Me and Anas, we use usually Metamask or Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet belongs to Binance. Metamask is an independent one, which you can get online on the website. And when you get it, make sure that you get it from the official website and not a scam website. So metamask.io, I believe it is, double check. And they have a Chrome plugin. So when you download this wallet, the way it works is it uploads to your Chrome browser. So when you're browsing all these websites with your MetaMask account, whatever funds you have on that account, you can use to buy these tokens and then store them in your wallet as well. And one more thing is also that if you want to fund your MetaMask account, you will have to deposit, click on receive. It will give you the address to your wallet, and then you have to use either an exchange that you have your cryptocurrency funds, or wherever you're sending them from, you have to input the right wallet address to receive the funds. And transactions on OpenSea and most of the other platforms is usually done in ETH, which is the currency of Ethereum. And for bits, if you want to participate in bits, there's something called wrapped ETH. So all you have to do is just exchange your ETH to WETH to be able to participate in bits. Because what wrapped ETH does is it allows you to put in a bid that you would be bound for further down the line. So it's kind of a separate contract.
We don't have to go too in depth on that.
That's it
right here. Yeah. But what I will say is MetaMask is also available on your phone, which is great. It wasn't available back in the day when I was starting. So this is fantastic because most people use their phones, and you can basically, if you're watching, you won't be seeing this. I'm displaying this on YouTube, but I've got MetaMask here just on the screen showing how it works. And you can actually buy Ethereum directly using Apple Pay or through a bank transfer using the MetaMask wallet. So for those people who haven't really onboarded with an exchange like Coinbase or Kraken or whatever, you can use your credit card here to buy Ethereum. And I just want to make that very specific. In this world, you do need to use Ethereum. You can't bring US dollars or normal money, fiat currency. It is a platform built on Ethereum, and so the only way purchases can be made is through Ethereum. That's something I think that a lot of people might struggle with in the beginning, but once you get onboarded into this system, it's very hard to go back. I mean, for me, I start valuing things in Ethereum sometimes. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how, if you want to understand this, you need to dive right into it, and you need to buy yourself a piece of NFT. It doesn't have to be an expensive one, but that's the best way you can learn how this industry works. And there's a lot of projects out there that probably are undervalued. There's so much things happening. You just need to do your own research.
That's a really important point. The Bored Ape, I should not really just start with that. There are so many projects that are completely cheap, like 0.01 Ethereum, $200, $100. The Bored Apes aren't the only things out there. There are loads of different projects, and every day artists are coming on there and they're putting their work out. So when you're buying an art piece, an NFT, right, you're kind of making a bet that this artist will continue to do well. So you want to hold that art piece for the foreseeable future because you believe your ownership of it is going to go up in value as well. So, this brings us to our next point. Why would you buy an NFT? The obvious one is to make money. And I think that's a very important part. It's kind of like, art in the real world is not just for the purposes of enjoying the art. It's also as a store of value. So people buy art to fight inflation. It's proven that the art market goes up, I think, 15 to 20% every year. And so it's a great hedge against inflation.
You know, a lot of companies actually buy a lot of art and keep them on the walls, and then if it's really expensive art, then they put it on their balance sheet as well. So it is a store of value, and now with the NFT space, it has become even more so, I would say, because it is much more liquid. You know, if you wanted to sell a painting, imagine the hassle you would have to go through to sell it, especially on the secondary market. But if I want to sell an NFT, I can just put it up on OpenSea, which is a secondary market platform, and hopefully get bids for it.
There's actually another innovation. There's a liquidity pool now, which is basically a place where you can purchase a crypto off the exchange. It's like a decentralized exchange. And some of these allow you to list your NFT in there to easily liquidate it. So there are people out there who, if they really need to fire sale their NFT to get money because they need it very badly for an emergency, it can be done quite quickly. Although I will say that won't be at the right price. You might have to take a 30% hit on it because this liquidity pool basically it liquidates it very fast because of the number of buyers in there. But I think it's still a lot, like you said, more liquid than the traditional art market. Now, just turning into utility, right? NFTs have a number of different types of utility. So firstly, NFTs aren't just art, right? You also have things like video games where me and Dan are probably not too familiar with this because we don't play video games, but a lot of people do. And actually, we recently attended a talk with Crystal Bakara, who's a big NFT artist here in the Middle East. And she was talking about her son, who recently asked his mom asked her, you know, for his birthday, he wanted to get a skin in this game that he was playing, and that if he could buy it for him digitally, that's all he really wanted. He didn't really want anything sort of in the real world. Now, NFTs are actually bringing that into gaming big time. So there are people who will literally be willing to pay big value for, let's say, a hammer in this kind of role-playing game, which costs a lot. And the people who own them who can sell that to them, because in this digital world, there are loads of, you know, gaming is a huge, huge market. And so if you're a gamer and you are in possession of a valuable digital asset, there are people willing to pay lots of money to buy that asset off of you. And so that's been reflected into the NFT space quite effectively. So that's quite exciting. This actually brings me into the next point, which is a little bit scary, but bear with me: virtual real estate. So in games, you can now purchase virtual real estate within that game. And you can rent that real estate out to people or charge a tax for people who, you know, traverse across your land in that, let's say, digital world. I know this sounds like we're in some fantasy kind of existence, but I'm telling you, people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars this way. I recently saw in Decentraland, which is one of these digital real estate kind of worlds, that somebody bought $200,000 worth of real estate and flipped it for $500,000. It's unbelievable what people are doing in the metaverse.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Imagine buying a virtual real estate, virtual villa that is only in a game for $200,000 and selling it for $500,000. I mean, it's crazy.
Another thing I want to talk about on that point is also this new business model being created called play to earn. So Axie Infinity is one of these big crypto NFT token companies. Their token actually recently went up massively, like 5,000%. But that's because in this game, there's a lot of utility to buying NFTs. And when you play, some people are earning over $200 a day just fulfilling quests and different types of accomplishments within that game. So I know there's two things I'm going to say here. It's kind of scary where the world is kind of going, but at the same time, I'm not going to say that this doesn't present new opportunities for how NFTs can reshape, how money's made.
Yeah, I mean, there's a demand for it, and we can't deny that there is a huge demand for the NFT products out there, and we just have to embrace it, adapt to it, and immerse ourselves in it, and
Exactly.
and hopefully it will also be used for a good cause, which we have seen. For example, when there was this crisis in Afghanistan, there was this guy, he came up with this brilliant NFT where you could buy these tokens that represented different types of packages, and that money that was raised was used for charitable causes. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
and you got into that on us.
yeah, I did. I
Yeah,
loved it. I
yeah,
actually posted about it on my Instagram, and I also posted about it on Twitter. To me, that was the most exciting NFT that I got to participate in, because I got to buy the NFT and visualize it as almost like a souvenir. I don't want to say it's a souvenir, but it's like I was able to revisit this donation and have it conceptualized on my phone. So the idea here is when you purchase one of these NFTs, you're basically paying for a whole family for 1 month in Afghanistan, and because the value of that NFT was equal to covering the cost for a whole family in Afghanistan. And the way that works was when you bought it on the blockchain, basically the funds were routed to care.org, who own an Ethereum wallet. They could take that Ethereum and immediately convert it to US dollars for whatever reason needed in Afghanistan. So yeah, that was a very innovative project.
and I guess that if you would resell that, if someone would buy that token from you, then that money would still be raised for charity again, right?
Precisely. I mean, I would. So what the charity would have was they would be entitled to a royalty, on that NFT. So whenever, let's take a step back here. Actually, if I'm an artist, let's say I'm a photographer, I take a photo and I put it as an NFT and I sell it for 5 Ethereum to somebody. When the first person who buys it sells it to another person, I can reserve on the blockchain through the smart contract a royalty on that secondary sale. So when he sells it for 6 Ethereum, for example, because he makes a profit of 1 Ethereum, I can set, for example, 10% of that sale goes to me. So in that way, this is actually a big innovation with NFTs. In the old world, we didn't really have that. If I sold if I own the Mona Lisa and I sold it, okay, I know Leonardo, he's not alive anymore. Let's say you have an artist who's alive. If he sells that art to me, and then I sell it to you, Danosh, the original artist doesn't get any of that money because the transaction is between you and me. Exactly. But in the NFT world, there's that smart contract which basically secures that royalty.
And we're seeing this in music. We're seeing this in the music industry with musicians now moving more and more onto the blockchain, so they can actually get the royalties themselves and cut out the middleman, that is the music label companies. Now that's pretty crazy. And back to the charity thing, I just want to make another point, is that people might ask themselves, so why shouldn't I just pay money for charity? Well, the difference here is that with an NFT, that's a token. Now that token can look like my face, and people might love that token and they want to resell it. And then because they're reselling it, it kind of becomes like a status symbol of owning that token, and that will appreciate in value. So instead of just paying, $100 in charity, someone might buy that token from me for $100,000, and all that money goes to charity. And that is how NFTs are revolutionizing the world, because they're playing to this whole aspect and concept of social proof that is so important to people. So yeah,
100%.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
So that takes us to kind of concluding this session now. We go back to our original question. Why did Visa buy a CryptoPunk? So early this week, like I said early in this episode, Visa decided to purchase a CryptoPunk for $150,000. And just to be clear, so what is a CryptoPunk? CryptoPunks look like, they are basically this 2D, for those who are listening, you won't be able to see this, but this 2D kind of retro futuristic pigmented kind of photograph.
Pixel. It's a pixel. It's a pixel punk that looks like something made by Atari. It looks horrible, to be honest. It looks.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's a good idea to just go on.
Crypto. I don't think they have any for sale.
They won't have any for sale, but it's a good idea just to show what exactly they look like. So you can see here, there are loads of CryptoPunks here. And
there's a few scams out here, so be careful, guys. This is real because it's got the actual check mark here on OpenSea.
I just want to highlight one thing as well, that there was 461.8K Ethereum traded around CryptoPunks. So let me just calculate what that actually is.
That's around what is it, like $150 million or 1.5 billion?
Yeah, 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
$1.5 billion of volume have been transacted for these JPEGs. Can we just let that sink in for a second?
No, let's not do that. So some people might get, scared of where the world is going, but this is new technology, and with all technology, we need to embrace it, and it's gonna change the world as we see it, and it's gonna bring a lot of good things to the world. So we just need to learn, adapt, and see how we can apply it.
So back to the question: why do they buy this? So what's happening right now is the CryptoPunks, they've become a status symbol. Mostly because of the value that they are right now, right? So the minimum price for one CryptoPunk now is almost $300,000. So what has happened is on Twitter and other digital platforms where the metaverse kind of gets together, people use these CryptoPunks as a form of identity. Now, why would they do that? Because remember, people in crypto are usually quite private. They don't want to share. I mean, the whole purpose of crypto in a way was cybersecurity and not sharing your personal details, etc. So there are people who want to have an identity in the world and use a profile pic that isn't necessarily their actual photo, right? And so people have been using this as a way to signal, one, that they're a member of this new crypto class, crypto group of people in the metaverse, but also in a way, it's kind of like what we do in the real world, where some people, they wear a Rolex or they drive a Lambo. Why do people do that? Well, to signal who they are, right? It's a status symbol, and that's in many ways why, to be frank, why these CryptoPunks have been selling like crazy. There are other status-seeking people who want to be part of this group and to showcase that on the metaverse, so they're buying it as a result. Yeah,
there's a lot of celebrities getting into crypto and NFTs now. Like I just read the other day, Stephen Curry, the NBA basketball player, just bought was it the Bored Ape?
Bored Ape, yeah.
Yeah, for $150,000.
180.
Yeah, 180.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So that's interesting. So what if Visa buy it? Well, there's two things the way I see it. Visa buying this reflects an embracement of that. Well, it kind of just reflects that they've embraced the crypto space, because they've actually been quite hostile to crypto for a long time. And so now that they've bought one, they want to be part of this new decentralized kind of future. Visa being a really old sort of corporation, they probably see where the world's going, in this metaverse kind of existence. And so I think they made a really good move, showing that they are an innovator, or that they are part of this revolution. And what I think it implies for the future is that other players are going to want to follow. MasterCard, PayPal, Facebook. I wouldn't be surprised if they too start buying NFTs to signal their participation in the metaverse and the crypto economy.
Well, I think more than that, rather than them just being payment providers or transaction providers via their credit cards, I think they might also get into the wallet space down the line, create their own crypto wallets. So for them, this is, just dipping their toes in the market to see what it's like. But we know that, I know that Visa has some few big projects going on in the crypto space, and probably MasterCard as well.
100%. So I think that wraps up this session. I think we covered a lot of great ground here, and we'll be doing a lot more sessions on NFTs because I think it's a very exciting space. It's something I found to be great fun. Personally, I'm not going to lie, I find it more interesting right now than the traditional crypto markets because it brings culture, it brings art, it brings a community that I did not really see as much as sort of in the traditional crypto space. So looking forward to more discussions about this in the future.
Definitely. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening in. Keep tuned and make sure you subscribe to our channel if you liked it. Please share your feedback with us. We always love to hear when what you guys think about the podcast, and when it's positive, of course, that keeps us going. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all the different channels that you can. We have our Instagram channel, Twitter as well, and stay tuned.